The 2023 budget is just around the corner, and everybody is wondering what major announcements we are going to witness in the next few weeks. But the situation in the global economy is not, the best right now. The rates are rising, the inflation is still above the target rate, and that's why, this particular budget could have the ability to make or break the financial situation of our country. The 2023 budget is likely to focus on capital expenditure as a growth driver and put an impetus on manufacturing while continuing the post-pandemic fiscal consolidation. The finance minister will try to boost capital expenditure in the company from 2.9% of the GDP to 3.6%. He will try to rationalize the personal income of the various, personal income tax slabs. And then, there will be a lot of focus on improving the ease of doing business in India. The government will continue to focus on boosting domestic manufacturing, right? Because with manufacturing, India can differentiate itself as a key player in the global economy. And the PLI schemes, especially in the labor-intensive sectors, are expected to continue. But most importantly, what a lot of people are thinking about is that this budget could become a populist budget. What that means is that the government spends a lot on welfare schemes, in anticipation of the election coming next year, the general election coming next year, as well as a number of state elections coming up this year. But what we really hope is that the spending is not that high, because the fiscal situation of the country is not the best right now. We could see external pressures because of the high interest rates, and we hope that the government continues to be a little conservative, continues the post-pandemic fiscal consolidation, and focuses on divestment and reduction of subsidies to raise capital for the economy. So here are the 10 right predictions for the 2023 budget, which we think will play a critical role.
Linked incentive in 14 sectors for achieving the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat has received excellent response, with potential to create 60 lakh new jobs and an additional production of 30 lakh crore during next 5 years.
The first prediction is around the PLI scheme. We think that the PLI schemes will continue to be the significant drivers of incremental revenues for India. And the scope of PLI schemes is expected to expand in this budget to include more sectors and more new age industries. But what we also expect is the government will continue to give more incentives to the the industry that have been gaining a lot from the current PLI scheme. Like phone manufacturing, chemical and auto components. The government will continue to boost those industries as well. The second key area where we see the budget focusing on, it would be the manufacturing sector, right? So the government will incentivize and invest in the road, railway, defense, and other manufacturing as well as infrastructure development projects, right, which are essential to support the growing economy or the growing emerging industries in India. The logistical system as well as infrastructure system is the key support to the emerging industries. The third key sector where we see the government focus on a lot is the rural sector. The rural sector has been struggling since the pandemic, and many call the recovery that we saw in the economy not V-shaped but actually K-shaped. What that means is that the urban sector actually recovered, whereas the rural sector continued to struggle after the pandemic. The demand in the rural economy has not recovered. The rural economy continues to struggle. So we actually see the government putting incentive on the rural sector, giving a push to the rural sector and focusing on that in this budget.
For news and content in 14 different languages.
लॉकडाऊनचं बोललं तर अंगावर काटा मारतो. तेव्हाचे दिवस आठवले तर एकदम मनामध्ये भीती निर्माण होते. तेव्हा आम्हाला कुठूनच कोणती माहिती मिळत नव्हती. पण इंटरनेटमुळे मला माझ्या भाषेमध्ये मराठीमध्ये खूप सारी माहिती मिळायला लागली. त्याच्यामुळे मला
What scheme to bet on is digitization or connectivity, right? So the government will try to make better connectivity by a number of schemes. They will focus on digital inclusion, right? making a number of technological tools available to the broader masses, from telecom to mobile phones to credit facilities. There will also be a lot of focus on credit expansion in the rural economy, right? Through which they are trying to make credit available easily across the rural sector, and they will try to support the struggling industries. But we actually we do hope that that the welfare spending that the government is trying to do does not go overboard, and we stay within our budget while doing this welfare spending.
आफ्टर डॉट पे हमारा होम डिलीवरी बिजनेस काफ़ी इंक्रीज हुआ है. अगर मैं नंबर्स में बताऊं तो 50 to 60% हमने होम
Now, the fifth key area to focus on would be the relief for the medium small businesses, and this might come in the form of a tax relief or the rationalization of the GST regime, or other policies that the government might propose to boost credit growth in the small and medium enterprises. In addition, we see the ECLGS, or the Emergency Credit Line Guarantee Scheme, expanding to provide emergency help for the small and medium business. So there are a number of schemes that we see the government focus on to incentivize the medium and small businesses in India, which are the backbone of the growth of the economy. Then we come to when we talk about the sixth sector, it would be banking, right? And the capitalization for banks. So if you follow the banking sector right now, you would see that the banking sector is actually at the best pace right now, right? We have seen India's NPAs, or the non-performing assets, go down. The profitability has increased in the banking sector, and the asset quality is at their peak right now. So in that view, we might not see a lot of capitalization coming into the banking industry. What we might actually see is that the government does not do capitalization, but they actually focus on boosting the credit growth in the broader economy, right? There might be a number of other ways through which the government tries to expand the credit in the in the Indian economy.
Now, using Jio Air Fiber, customers can do away with all such expenses and opt to use a virtual PC that is hosted in the cloud. This is a concept that we call Jio Cloud PC. No large upfront investments, no upgrades, and you only pay to the extent you use the cloud PC, resulting in a
The seventh area where we might see a lot of investment come in would be the technology sector. Technology has been a key area of focus in all the last few budgets, and the government will continue to talk about technology in this budget as well. So UPI has proven to be a very key use of technology that has stood out for India. We have one of the best payment system in India with UPI. Similarly, we might see reforms coming up in the e-commerce space with a new technology system being introduced there. Similarly, on the credit space, we might see OCEN, or Open Credit Enablement Network, getting some focus from the government.
So what is sustainable finance? Also referred to as green finance or ESG finance, sustainable finance means making investment decisions that consider social and environmental impacts rather than just financial returns.
Now, the eighth area to focus on would be green financing or sustainability, right? And the budget would try to make sure that India is walking towards a more sustainable future. So a lot of the countries across the board, across the globe, are trying to reach net zero emission by 2070, and that is what India also aims to do. And we also aim to halve our greenhouse emission as well as transition to non-fossil fuel-based energy sources by 2030. And that is what will continue to be a focus for the government. So sustainability and green financing will continue to get a focus, and you will see investment coming into renewable energy, electric vehicles, green hydrogen, and other sectors related to this area. Ninth most important area here would be, which is something which might be the key in the future, would be expanding the ease of doing business in India. Right now, India wants to become a manufacturing hub for the world by taking advantage of the China plus one and the Euro plus one strategy, right? we want to bring more and more global companies to come work in India. And for that, India needs to rank higher in their business ranking, and we want to make it easier and easier for global companies to operate out of India and invest in India. So in the budget, we might see regulations, procedures that will make running a business easier in India, investing in infrastructure easier in India, as well as see improvements in connectivity as well as logistics to make life easier for businesses in India. The last and the most important part where we could see a focus on would be reduction of the fiscal deficit. So like I said, that where where the government might want to spend a lot this year because in next year is election, but still because of the turmoil in the global economy, the country needs to stay within its budget, right? And that's why we might see the government be a little fiscally conservative and provide a clear guide path to reaching our fiscal deficit target of 4.5% by trimming some of the subsidies and pushing for asset monetization. And while, like we said, election is coming, but still the ruling party sort of needs to focus on keeping the books strong and not overdo the welfare spending, so that India remains robust in a high rate environment, and while the rest of the world is actually struggling.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I present the budget for the year 2022-23. At the outset,
with the budget coming soon, how do you think that the market is going to move, right? So we did an analysis and we found that in the last 8 to 10 budgets, if you look at the run before the budget, it's almost 50-50. There is a plus minus 3% move before the budget, and we expect the same volatility to continue before this budget as well. But if you do an analysis of the budget day and the week after the budget, it typically has a positive bias. So we can expect a positive bias, on the budget announcement date and after the budget announcement date, if the focus that the government has falls into the expectations that people have. What are the sectors where we could invest in anticipation of the budget, right? So as the budget comes in, as we have said, the investment by the government or the focus of the government will be on the manufacturing sector, the capital expenditure, so capital goods, logistics, defense, railways, and public sector banks. You could see a lot of investment coming into these sectors in the run-up to the budget and even after the budget, right? So if we were to take a bet, we would pick up these sectors which are highly linked to the cyclical growth, so including domestic infrastructure, manufacturing, capital goods, defense, sustainability, railways, public sector banks. These sectors will continue to have a spotlight prior to the budget as well as after the budget, as per our understanding. Now, having made all these exciting predictions, the real picture of the budget will only come in a couple of weeks. Till then, please do comment below if you agree with our analysis, and do let me know, what other videos you want us to cover in the next video session. And please do not, forget to hit the like button as well as to subscribe to stay up to date. So please do share, share and subscribe to Wright Research to get more insights into the market.